In the studio, Honorable Stephen Kampyongo, who is a former Minister of Home Affairs. Now, Honorable, you are trying to make an emphasis, and also I asked you a question around Thank you so much for still watching the bigger program right here on KBN.
Our media house is committed to upholding the highest standards of professional conduct and ethics. As part of our dedication and responsible journalism, we have subscribed to the Code of Ethics established by the Media Self-Regulation Council of Zambia, MSCZ. We value your feedback and take any concerns regarding our content or professional behavior seriously. If you feel aggrieved by any aspect of our operations, we encourage you to reach out to the MSCZ Media Ethics and Complaints Committee for assistance and resolution. To lodge a complaint or seek redress, you can contact the MSCZ Ethics and Complaints Committee via email at mselfregulation@gmail.com or by calling the dedicated mobile number for media violations at 260-777-348695. Alternatively, you may also send your complaints in writing to the following address: Chairperson, MSCZ Media Ethics and Complaints Committee, PO Box 32295, Lusaka, Zambia. We appreciate your support in helping us maintain the highest standards of professionalism and integrity in our journalism. MSCZ Media Ethics and Complaints Committee, promoting a professional and ethical media in Zambia. Our media house is committed to upholding the highest standards of professional conduct and ethics. As part of our dedication and responsible journalism, we have subscribed to the Code of Ethics established by the Media Self-Regulation Council of Zambia, MSCZ. We value your feedback and take any concerns regarding our content or professional behavior seriously. If you feel aggrieved by any aspect of our operations, we encourage you to reach out to the MSCZ Media Ethics and Complaints Committee for assistance and resolution. To lodge a complaint or seek redress, you can contact the MSCZ Ethics and Complaints Committee via email at mselfregulation@gmail.com or by calling the dedicated mobile number for media violations at 260-777-348695. Alternatively, you may also send your complaints in writing to the following address: Chairperson, MSCZ Media Ethics and Complaints Committee, PO Box 32295, Lusaka, Zambia. We appreciate your support in helping us maintain the highest standards of professionalism and integrity in our journalism. MSCZ Media Ethics and Complaints Committee, promoting a professional and ethical media in Zambia. Our media house is committed to upholding the highest standards of professional conduct and ethics. As part of our dedication and responsible journalism, we have subscribed to the Code of Ethics established by the Media Self-Regulation Council of Zambia, MSCZ. We value your feedback and take any concerns regarding our content or professional behavior seriously. If you feel aggrieved by any aspect of our operations, we encourage you to reach out to the MSCZ Media Ethics and Complaints Committee for assistance and resolution. To lodge a complaint or seek redress, you can contact the MSCZ Ethics and Complaints Committee via email at mselfregulation@gmail.com or by calling the dedicated mobile number for media violations at 260-777-348695. Alternatively, you may also send your complaints in writing to the following address: Chairperson, MSCZ Media Ethics and Complaints Committee, PO Box 32295, Lusaka, Zambia. We appreciate your support in helping us.
Good evening, Zambia. Good evening, Africa, and welcome to the bigger program right here on KBN TV from Zambia's capital city, Lusaka. With me, Innocent Piru. You can simply call me IP. We are found on DSTV channel 279, Go TV channel 27, and Topside Decoder channel 102. You can follow the program via social media platforms as KBN TV Facebook page, as well as YouTube platform. Now, 10 years ago, Zambia was given a special day, which was commemorated about 48 hours ago, the day of national prayer, fasting, repentance, and reconciliation. The declaration was done by late President Edgar Chagwa Lungu, and the country has continued commemorating this special day and reaffirming Zambia's status as a Christian nation. We discuss these issues from the perspective of realities in terms of reconciliation, repentance as a Christian nation. I have in the studio a person who does not need much of your introduction. He's been quite around as former minister of, as a minister of Home Affairs, as a former, minister of local government, and of course, he has served in other portfolios in the Republic of Zambia. His name is Honorable Stephen Kampyongo. He joins me. He serves as a Shwangandu Member of Parliament at the moment. He's in the studio discussing a number of issues, of course, beginning with National Day of Prayer. Honorable, welcome and good evening to the program.
Thank you so much, Mr. Piri, and once again, it's really a pleasure. It's reconciling.
So we're having a reconciliation between you and I on TV now.
Yes. So it starts from here. So that, first of all, you reconcile with oneself and you reconcile between the two of us.
Charity begins at home.
Correct.
I know we haven't been together for a long time where, media is concerned. And of course, just even, as Zambians, you as a Zambian and myself as a Zambian. So I understand when you talk about reconciliation. Welcome.
Thank you very much. No, but I mean, I wouldn't blame you. There hasn't been any, and if you were with me, going as far as, subordinate court in Chisali, those days, covering me and well, it's just that we haven't obviously sat together like we are sitting today. Yeah, but obviously it's always a pleasure to be here at KBN, and you are doing a commendable job as a station. You know, of course, under the circumstances, but we can only encourage you to continue doing the good work you are doing. Yeah. Now, coming to the issue we are sitting here to discuss. Obviously, it's interesting, and to you said 10 years ago, to see that Zambians still appreciate the rationale behind the introduction of this very important day. And maybe, if you ask me how I feel, I can say, of course, mixed feelings, serious contrasting feelings. I'm very happy.
And it's interesting, before you proceed, Honorable, that I'm speaking to, I thought I could establish this. I'm speaking to a staunch Catholic member in you.
Correct, Mr. AP.
Yeah.
And I'm very proud.
Right.
To have been brought up from, in the Catholic faith, and I continue to be the same. You know, it was the same before I got into public service. It has continued to be the same when I was in public service, and even post public service. That's where my life is constant. And so that's one thing that makes me proud.
I know that you are quite yearning to talk about the day of national prayer, fasting, repentance, and reconciliation, which is our major subject this evening. But of course, maybe in brief, I would want to establish, look, I mentioned that you are a staunch Catholic member. Let's just establish, for the benefit of the viewers out there and some people who may be watching you for the first time, or maybe in a long time, from the time you were in government and now you are again, here from the opposition side. I would want just to understand, on behalf of the people, of course, because with so many interactions I've had with you, I've known Honorable Stephen Kampyongo as a prayer warrior. I've moved with you, I've traveled with you. I know a bit of your life history, and how the society perceive you out there, and how much you are appreciated when it comes to a man with a lot of humility in you, a person who is a prayer warrior, a person who is mobbed whenever you go elsewhere. You've been in Shwangandu for quite a while. But of course, others will tell you that Kampyongo is a person who is a bad person. Is a thug, is a hooligan. All those evil terms have been lumped on you, but you've never reacted. Just take us back a little bit, who Kampyongo is. In terms of you being a member of parliament for Shwangandu, when did you get your first election in Shwangandu? Just from there.
Well, thank you. IP, we can spend the whole day if you want to talk about.
I thought so.
about me as a person, and but in brief, you were asking when I got into public service. Of course, it's not something that I thought I'll end up into initially, but I grew up in the political family. As I've always shared, you have been to Shwangandu and you have read for yourselves. My father and his three brothers were the Shinga brothers, as it were teachers, started as teachers, and they were teachers at the same time. Dr. Kaunda was a teacher at Luwa Mission, and so they were all in that district. Our late father, Mr. Simon Kwasakapuipo, was equally in the teaching profession, and so you can see how where it starts from. So that was before independence, and therefore the three gentlemen we are very active as civil servants, and so when Dr. Kaunda got into, politics, first of all starting with ANC, before they got into ZANC, UNIP, to come and wage what was called Chachacha Liberation. Chachacha Liberation, I've shown you the road called Chachacha in Shwangando. Yes. It cuts right through in between Shwangando constituency. Very interesting history. And so they were very active up to the point that when they got independence, and they continued. One of them was a political secretary somewhere in Eastern Province where we used to go, and the other one to become a member of parliament for Chinsali constituency, and because Chinsali and Shwangando were one. Shwangando was a constituency under Chinsali district. So but through time, I never thought I would get into that job, because I could see that we never used to have time with these gentlemen, as families, because they would be out and for longer period of time. And when you want to venture with them to see what they got to do in their politics in the villages. It was interesting. You'll be sitting and starting from the morning, there will be meetings and meetings into the night. You sleep, you wake up. So it's not something that I thought I could end up into. But to cut the story short, when my father died, my late uncle also died. I remained with one of the uncles, Mr. Makshinga. My father being Remi Shinga Kampyongo, the youngest brother being Boniface Shinga. When they died, we remained with my Batata Mwaiche. We don't go uncles. Right. We have not grown up to go our fashion uncles. Right. He's actually the one who ignited it all, and he was saying we are aging, and we've done our part in representing people. Look at what is happening now. Surely, and you are sick. I was taking him to some clinic where we didn't find medicine. I'd say a place called Matumbo. So he was, in as much as he was down, as I was taking him back, because I coincidentally just happened to be in the area, then I had to take him to Chilonga. So it started from there. Right. We would want to see you get into this thing and do what you can to help people. Look, as sick as I am, can't find medicine and all that kind of thing. So history, and King Cobra was...
I was getting there.
Knew his peers very well. Having worked with, like I said, all these were people under Dr. Kaunda. Right. So when King Cobra hunted for me, and I wasn't even interested. That was when, I think, 2006. Right. I wasn't ready. I was just, settling down, getting married. But, of course, I was convinced about his political journey. Felt inspired by the way he was just doing things. And so when you sat with him one-on-one as a youth, he would say so many things. Right. To the point that you get that conviction to work with him. And this is what I say to people, that leadership is not so much about what someone has, in terms of resources. There's more to leadership, I think, that one should possess. Right. Speaking about King Cobra, you saw the way he started the Patriotic Front when he moved out of the movement for multi-party democracy. He was a champion of pro-poor policies, and he demonstrated what it meant to a point where you get the little way that you could have saved to do something to contribute to the cause. And I think for me, that has left a big mark on me more than anything. And just as my parents were, they were humble servants, public servants, right. But there was nothing much to point at, even after working in public service for so much period. So you take some of those things. So when you see us being tossed around, I think we have been mentored to a point where it's more to save than what you get out of the service. But of course, people might not understand that. So, in short, I realized that it was a calling for me to save. And, saving people the way I've saved the people of Shonan for this long on one platform. And consistently with increasing support, and appreciation from the people is not a minor undertaking. It comes with challenges, but it's also about how you resonate with the people, how you get to appreciate them. So when I was beginning, I was relatively young in 2011. Yeah. We were in the opposition.
Yes. You were among the young people who were appointed by Michael.
Yeah, so it's a privilege, and I'll keep saying that we youths, the youths out there, must not relent. Right. There will be nothing that should come on the silver platter, and that's when for you can position yourself, you can be recognized for your potential, and you can still be somebody. And so, King Cobra, a Catholic stanch himself, he inculcated certain values in some of us, right. And so when you stand and say, look, I save diligently and I make sure that I don't touch that which doesn't belong to me, it comes from that far. You can people would want to think this and that, but at the end of the day, you've been around with me where people have said, when you are a property, when you just go and find it's a bare piece of land with nothing constructed there, that when you are looking at it and in the public,
when you check social media,
it's a property. But I mean, I'm up to live an ordinary life and save the people with the commitment that goes with public service. So from President Sata, of course, you remember he appointed me Deputy Minister after 1 year of being at the backbench, Deputy Minister at the Ministry of Home Affairs, where I was up to the time he died. And then when President Lungu came in, took over from him under also very interesting circumstances, I'd served under him as Minister of Home Affairs before Dr. Simbakula came in. And so when we worked around to push him to become president, he moved me from Home Affairs to deputize the first female vice president, Mama Inonga Wina, a great woman, full of wisdom, where I also learned so much, and I enjoyed every bit working with her, because then, like I told you, we grew up as unique children, so it wasn't difficult to work with my mother there, and eventually I was elevated to become Minister of Local Government. Again, interesting works there. When I look back, I just feel privileged that I saved that short space of time. You were with me when we were launching the Kampyongo water supply, because that time the water sector was under the Ministry of Local Government. We had left the now so much talked about Kafu water bulk, where Kafu water was a challenge. So that Kaflafta Dam and that water project was left on the pipeline, and I think my colleague who took over from there ran with it up to the time it was launched. And but I said we can finish the whole time.
We can finish the whole time,
but
indeed.
In the end, you know that even that time you had a chance to move with me on tours of duty. I always found time to go and have myself before God, our Creator, because then we always need to continue seeking wisdom.
Right.
And that's why for many say, oh, you have gone through so much and you still look the same, you don't change. It's not just because of being a strong person. There's no one who is strong. We're all human beings, and we are hit in different forms. But I think less and less of. So you then get the strength, you get boosted. That's why every time you saw, even if I was on tour of duty, Sunday like today, you can't get me to work before I go and harm myself before God. So that's why it is, and that's why I don't keep so much of the negative baggage. Negative baggage. If you offend me today, I should be thinking of why you offended me. I won't move. So, that's more or less about me. But there are certain things that obviously, because if you keep referring to some of the bad experiences, it remains as your baggage. So you make sure when you pray about it, as when you got change and leave the baggage.
You quickly heal and move on.
They even heal and move on. Yeah. You're asking me why do you, it's a seminar in Parliament and what? No, but look, I have to perform the responsibilities given by the people. I don't want to be selfish, because if I'm selfish, I would just be thinking about myself. Oh, why has this happened to me? Why? Forgetting about the people that have given me the privilege to serve as their representative. You understand? So it's important to strike a balance, to know that you are in public service not by accident, but by the trust of the people.
And how has been your experience so far in the opposition? I mean, from 2011, you've been associated with government, affairs. For lack of better words, I can add on to say you find that maybe you've got all these, security with you. You've got the police, and because by the virtue of your position at the time as the Home Affairs Minister, of course, you are protected and everything like that. But 2021 comes in, you lose power as a party. And then here is Honorable Kampyongo, who was once a puff man, for lack of better words, as a minister. You become a nothing. You become, the IP who can't move with the security. How has been your experience so far? Have you come to terms, in short?
Yeah, there's nothing. Well, it's just the same tour of duty, but just different, positions. IP. You remember that I told you that after we lost President Sata, President Lungu came in. We were to go into general elections in 2021, and this is why I feel so privileged and to just be shown love by the people of Shwangandu is something that I don't take for granted. So if you look at the numbers and the progression of numbers in terms of the voting in 2016, I jumped. More than 60% increase the number, because normally when you are an MP, depending on your performance, naturally your prospect starts dwindling, and this is demonstrated by the number of votes that you keep getting. So, but fortunate for me, and I thank people of Shwangandu. 2021, we went to general elections. Remember, we came back, and President Lungu won, and that's when I was appointed to become Minister of Home Affairs. I think to serve that longest span is also another privilege. I feel indebted. So it's 5 years plus 3 gives you 8 of being at Home Affairs, and I think results are there for you to go and see.
You are the longest serving Home Affairs Minister.
Yes, as it is. Yes, it is. Yes, I hope my successor would get there, but I mean, obviously, it's different. But again, if we would drift and now start just talking about my tour of duty, which I'm trying to avoid.
Right. No, my question was just basically, have you come to terms
now,
and how has been experience?
First of all, in coming to terms, remember we were in opposition.
Yeah.
And we came in 2011.
Yes.
To form government. So we lose President Sata in between. You understand? 2011 to 2016. We had those challenges. So we then went into election 2016. I bounced back with very good, number of votes. And then I was to serve Minister of Home Affairs up to 2021. And then we went into general elections. Again, the numbers, for me as a candidate were again on the upper trajectory. Then obviously we don't make it to form government. Right. We get back to opposition.
Right.
And so it's a tour of duty, IP. Even when I was serving as a deputy minister, I knew it was tour of duty.
Right.
As minister of local government, tour of duty. And I was just appreciating that, President Sata said, look, when you are given a tour of duty, you must have something to point at. I'm proud.
Do you plan to...
So come to Home Affairs, with the security detail and whatnot, which comes with the job. But you remember very well, when I was off duty, how was I moving? You remember very well. You were asking me yourself. And what was I telling you? I was telling you that IP, this is the tour of duty. Those things that I'm entitled to will remain. I'll still be a person. And that's why you found that, I would want to be in the church at my parish, just as like an ordinary parishioner. I didn't want to go with all that thing of, no. And so, that in itself there hasn't been so much difference. I mean, those are the privileges and the titles that come with a tour of duty.
Right.
And when they go, they go.
Right.
I'm a member of parliament. I have to adjust. And it's not difficult to adjust when you understand that at any particular team we are on tour of duty. A tour of duty begins and the tour of duty ends.
Do you plan to recontest Shwangando constituency?
Well, I've always told people that, it's not about how I feel.
Right.
It's not about how I feel. It's about how people feel. And the employers.
Right.
You may be thinking, yes, I want to come back, but they say, no, sir, it's for you to rest.
Right.
You understand? But even when they're saying you come back, you must be in agreement.
Right.
You understand? Not that just a few that wants you to back. It must be something. When you are called to duty, you are called to serve, and so. Already, I'm very thankful to the people of Shwangand for having saved them this long without any break. I think in the history since independence, I have served continuously like this as a first member. But of course, the one I took over from was my brother and relative, Major Celestine Chivamba, saved, then lost at one point, then came back to do another 5 years. So. It's a privilege, but it will depend.
Right.
It's not something that you say, because me, I've done. No.
Right.
I'm not that kind of leader. I would just feel the sense of entitlement.
Right.
When people, trust you this long, you shouldn't take them for granted.
Right. Let us save our time, Honorable. We just look at the video, you and I, of the late President Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu when he was declaring this day of national prayer, repentance and reconciliation. Then later on I will engage you for some conversation. Let's watch the video.
Countrymen of this great nation Zambia, I appeal to all of you to do your best and leave the rest to God. After all, we are a God's nation, and with God all things are possible. When we identify with God, when we identify ourselves with God, failure is not our option, our portion at all. We are a nation of faith. We are a Christian nation. Let me therefore take this solemn opportunity to declare that this day, October 18, shall forever this day of October 18 shall forthwith forever be reserved as a national day of prayer and will be gazetted as a public holiday. I declare Zambia set free from the dark forces of evil. I declare that Zambia is a blessed and prosperous nation. May the good Lord Almighty bless you and keep you well. May the Lord Almighty make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you all. May the Lord turn his face towards you and give you peace. God bless you all. God bless the Republic of Zambia. Amen.
All right, thank you so much. There's a video there of the late president who declared the day, which is under discussion today. Let's look at it from a realistic perspective. And Honorable Stephen Kampyongo is my guest on the program. Let's get into this day now and its meaning. Are we living up to its desired mandate as the President Edgar Chagwa and the people of Zambia desired? Where are we today?
Different emotions, obviously, like I told you. President Sata was a Christian disciplinarian in his own way, and we appreciated and loved working under him. Then there came Isiao, equally Christian, humble, and I think having closely worked with him, some people might not just appreciate. We all, those of us who have worked with him, everyone will give you a different story. Each one has got a story to tell about ECL, and so are the ordinary citizens. True to many, he was a humble and God-fearing man. He was a God-fearing man. And I remember I was with him when the news broke of President Sata dying. And we were together, and it was a very emotional day, very emotional evening. But I still remember him, after his, obviously, the emotional devastation expressed and whatnot. I remember him calling, I think, one person of God to just, for prayers. And so I think he meant what declaration of that day we were commemorating yesterday, was well meant for him. Right. He did believe so much in it. Of course, sometimes when we're making a decision, it comes with criticism, but it's something that I think he did out of conviction as a Christian himself.
Right.
And that's why for him, he would go and pray in a church in the deep areas where you would say, no, there's security concerns. You would say, look, let's go. You know, I mean, you can't be segregated when it comes to, you know, praying and seeking God. So that's why he was. And you saw the way he respected everyone in terms of, you know, pastors and preachers and whatnot. And he had, I think, a very good working relationship with all people of God, our shepherds from the Catholic Church. He related with them very well, and it was good to make work for us easier. I remember when he was approving the request from the Diocese of Monze for us to get some piece of land which was belonging to the Correctional Service for the expansion of the mission work. It had ordinarily been difficult, yeah, but because he was a believer and he said, look, do this and make sure we go and support the work for the church. Right. And for sure, when we were handing over the papers for the church, he traveled with us to Monze to go and hand over, and he said he participated in the fundraising for the project. So there are so many things, there are so many experiences that demonstrated that he meant well for the...
Strategically, if you look at this day of national prayer, repentance and reconciliation, I think there are some very quite pertinent ways, like repentance, number one, we go to reconciliation. And from the citizenry point of view, are we forgiving towards one another? I'll actually push this question to you, the political leaders who are in the political space, because you are the ones governing us today. Are you living or walking the talk as regards to forgiving one another?
Yeah,
are you able to reconcile?
Let me start first of all by concluding what I shared with you, how I felt about the day when I was saying came with mixed feelings. I was very happy. I was a very happy person to see that the government took center stage in participating in the prayers yesterday on the 18th, and you know, kudos to the president. I saw him, you know, observing a moment of silence and praying for the Lung family. You can't question someone's prayer. You understand, as human beings.
Maybe we play that video. We can call for that video of President Hakainde and calling for a moment of silence so the viewers can watch. Let's watch the video.
I want to acknowledge that as we pray, ask this house of prayer today, as God says, where two or more gather, I'm there with them. So I want to ask we who are here present today and through the media, the nation and the world, that we continue to pray for the Lungu family. Our sixth president, President Lungu, on an occasion like this, on a day like this, as we pray for many things, I remind us to pray for the family, for the loss of our sixth president. And at this call, at this point, I would like to invite all of us to stand up and observe a minute of silence in memory, respect of our sixth president. May we please be upstanding, all of us without exception. The minute starts now. Thank you very much, colleagues. You may take your seats. And as always, we pray for his soul to rest in peace. We also pray for closure on the burial of our sixth president. We pray for closure so we can achieve closure on this long outstanding matter.
All right, that is President Hakainde Hichilema at the showground calling on a moment of silence in honor of the late President Dr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu. You can proceed, Honorable, based on that.
Now, so we are very happy indeed, and obviously we don't have to go back and say, okay, this is the day you didn't recognize and when you were in the opposition and whatnot. I think that would be just subtracting and retrogressive if we have to look at things in the spirit of reconciliation. However, I would have loved to say a little bit more. In addition to that observation, because that was happening at a time this man who declared the same day is still being mourned. We are still in mourning, and in a mourning which unfortunately entails that he's still in the morgue, in the fridge, freezing. 3 months, more than 3 months after his death. Very unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. And if we don't do something in realistic terms to show healing, and as we pray for the Lungu family who have been through so much, Mama Esther Lungu and the immediate Lungu's family have been so much this longest period, we may be all haunted. And therefore, for me, in addition to that observation that was made by the president, I would have loved to him to just move a step and say, I feel this must come to an end. As a way of reconciling with a person, even posthumously. It could have made a lot of Christian sense to make a further pronouncement of saying, I feel we respect the family's wishes. Let's get the the 60th president intact so that we can open a new chapter. And as president, I'm willing to do 1, 2, 3 in order for us to finish off this. Even as we go into independence, that will be the meaningful way of celebrating the 18th October and the Independence Humanism Week that we are going into. And so it's not too late for the president to still make pronouncements. And I appeal to the Attorney General, be the Attorney General for the state. Don't be a partisan Attorney General. We have seen some misguidance that has been given to the government. I don't want to go into that. The BO7, now the technical committee and many other things. But on this particular issue of the late president, be a state Attorney General. Advise wisely so that we can get to this chapter. Just this period, IP, the day before yesterday, the people of Kenya gathered in their multitudes.
All right, thank you so much for watching the bigger program right here on KBN TV, and I have in the studio Honorable Stephen Kampyongo, who is a former Minister of Home Affairs. Now, Honorable, you are trying to make an emphasis, and also I asked you a question around the confusion in PF, and you've cited an example of you having demonstrated genuine reconciliation with Honorable Mao Sampa and other people. But I will remind you that there's also Honorable Chavinga in this case that seems to be, on the other side, as the prodigal son, or has he come back home? What's going on here?
Well, it's again, it comes back to what I was saying, that there must be sincerity in the way we deal with matters. You remember I was talking about why we have taken long in getting the issue of President Edgar Lungu, former President, be buried. There are some issues that point to lack of sincerity in the discussions and ensuring. So even before we talk about the aspect that is Comrade Chavinga is praying in the issues of PF, I would rather we speak to those that relate to the
leaked audio. That's what you mean?
Yeah. I mean, what do you think the family would have been thinking? In the middle of the morning, and they're hoping that they could engage government meaningfully to find a way of getting the remains of President Lungu repatriated back to Zambia for final burial. And then there's this audio that leaks, okay, about the discussion related to the same issues of burial. And then you have got an honorable member of parliament who is a member of Patriotic Front, discussing with another member who is a minister and a member of the UPND. And the discussion is not a positive one. It's talking about issues of bribing the judge in the foreign country. And then you are wondering, because if you have got laws that deal with these matters and no one is moving, because we said it when the cybersecurity laws were brought, that mind the laws that you put in place. In my language, you say might be used against you. Not too long after the laws were enhanced and amended, who were the first ones to breach? Members of parliament. What do you think the family would have been thinking at that point, even when you are going to engage them? Even all of us who are around, we are extremely concerned with that audio. And so even as we are going forward to deal with these matters, those issues must be addressed and shown that they've been addressed. If they were not meant in the manner they've been understood by the nation, it must be explained. Recently you hear of some people fetching for the body, purporting to have been sent. By who? It's not known. So people must not pretend that they don't know that these things are going on. So even as we are praying for the family, as we are praying for the family, we must address some of these concerns in order to have a conducive environment for a genuine discourse, so that we can put this matter to rest. To pay last respects. To pay their last respects to a person who has been on the political scene in different spheres. Longest opposition, he has been part of government. You remember when they reconciled with him is President Mike Baki, he became prime minister, and it had to also take President Uhuru Kenyatta, first of all, to reconcile with Mr. Odinga, because these people, their fathers, historically were politicians. Mr. Jomo Kenyatta and Mr. Odinga, senior, the father to Raila Odinga, were part of the liberation struggle. You understand? And of course, they worked together and then they went separate ways. Mr. Odinga worked under Mr. Jomo Kenyatta, but they later went separate ways in their politics, and so it had to take their children many years after that. Of course, they were also in different political parts. Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta and Mr. Raila Odinga competing. So, but it had to take that reconciliation between Mr. Odinga and Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta. Even as Mr. Kenyatta had a person who was his running mate and serving as vice president, he opted to go with this reconciliation, and that allowed him, for the first time in the history, to support publicly Mr. Raila Odinga. If you saw the standing ovation that Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta was enjoying the day before yesterday, it's because of that reconciliation. So he went there, and even when people saw, they appreciated that these two had genuinely reconciled for Mr. Kenyatta to even back the candidature of Mr. Odinga. Although he lost the presidential race, the hearing was so solid to a point where when you saw Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta being called to speak, it took time for people to just calm down. Because you see, they see him as a healer, they see him as a national builder, they see him as a center of national unity. You understand? And so that's why Mr. Odinga was quickly brought back. His remains were brought back from India, where he died, and it's in no time the state had a role to play in that funeral, and the family took over the procession to take Mr. Raila Odinga back to his village where he was born, to be buried, and the state facilitated. That's where collective wisdom works. And genuine, sincere reconciliation can actually produce such kind of results. It's not far-fetched that even here we can emulate what our colleagues demonstrated just these few days. It wasn't by accident. It comes from somewhere. It has got a genesis. It's got history. If that reconciliation didn't take place, I don't think Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta would have even gone to stand like that in the stadium, and people would have appreciated. It would have been crashes again. But because of the efforts that were put in reconciling those two, and I do remember that the late former president, Mr. Rupia Banda, was a close associate to Mr. Raila Odinga, played a very vital role in trying to narrow those differences. So it's something that I know. So, like I'm saying, it would have added value. We are still within the humanism period leading into independence after the 18th. There's something that can be done. If they can do something to close this chapter of President ACL being put to rest, then we can say, yes, we are getting back to the foundation well built on the cornerstone of one Zambia, one nation, as espoused by our forefathers who liberated this country. There's more that can be done.
A very dramatic ordeal you've just shared, Honorable Kampyongo, in line with the Kenyan story into the Zambian context. Of course, prior to the 2022, thereabout.
So in conclusion,
yes, please.
In conclusion, happy as I was to see what you just showed, and the nation was watching, very happy. I still got a heavy heart, very sad that this man still is in the morgue. And that's why I'm emphasizing that we can use this window for us to get to say, we just need to appeal to our collective wisdom.
So I was about to cite an example of Kenya when you talk about Uhuru Kenyatta, who in 2022 decided to support, for example, he went to support on Raila Odinga, who was in the opposition. They became rivals with his former deputy president, who is Ruto, now the president, with Uhuru Kenyatta. But later on, Ruto reconciled again with the, Uhuru Kenyatta, who had supported Raila Odinga. Quite dramatic indeed. And as you mentioned yesterday or a few days ago, they were in the same, auditorium, all of them celebrating the life of Raila Odinga. Why shouldn't this happen in Zambia? What is the problem? Why can't you, the politicians, really come together and have, a meal together? I'll tell you one thing as a person who go through your party manifestos. If you talk about your political party, PF, I've gone through the manifesto. You look at the UPND manifesto, I've gone through it. And in one of the pages, the UPND manifesto suggests that, or proposes that the UPND we're going to promote these stakeholder consultations with you, the opposition. That hasn't happened in the last 4 years of the UPND, where reconciliation is concerned. And that's why my question comes in, why is it so hard for you people to come together and maybe share a meal or maybe just greet each other and consider politics as it were? as we move on from this?
Thank you so much, IP. And I use that example just to demonstrate that people can differ and people can still narrow down their differences and get to the common ground. It's very possible.
But your differences seems to be quite unique. When you differ politically, it means you've differed emotionally, you know?
And that's what we should be praying about.
Right.
Sincerely. So that's what we should be praying about, so that our pronouncements, our lamentations get to be practically seen.
Right.
That should be our prayer. That's actually where the reconciliation is needed. That we start seeing each other as competitors of ideas. But we should sit on the round table and, differ to agree.
Right.
You understand? Some of the things that are acrimonious are just because we can't sit and talk.
Right.
When you want to bulldoze sometimes, and think that, because authority sometimes also can blind you not to see certain things.
Right.
Authority given by the people. When you think it's now yours, and everything else can be dictated, it becomes a problem. So our prayers should be that to those in authority, it's important to realize that every Zambian has got a stake in the affairs of this nation. Every Zambian. That's why to be president, to be MP, to be councillor, it's people that say, you, now, it's your time to lead us. So we shouldn't be flipping quickly to become people's bosses. So in dealing with people's affairs, we must also understand that IP, you are in a space where not everybody would like you, like you are saying. Everybody will like you, but there will be also those that will like another person.
Yeah.
It's a case that we're referring into in Kenya. People with huge masses behind them. Now, you imagine what happens if just one Raila Odinga on one side, one Uhuru Kenyatta, with millions and millions of supporters. When they say they can't see eye to eye, what happens to those millions of supporters?
Right.
Huh? So that's where we leaders must understand that they are not leaders by themselves. They are leaders because they have got masses that believe in them to be in leadership. You understand? So if these just two people not agreeing, it means these masses that are following them are also at there's something in between. So how do you narrow? The moment these two sit and say embrace, we have seen it even here. You remember President Sata when he was down, when he was sick, and the political shadow boxing that was there between him and President Mwanawasa. May their souls rest in peace. But when they just met and shake hands and what, it was like
you all followed suit.
Correct. We all followed suit, and that's what works. So even ECO in his death, he's got those of us who believed in so much in him and who have got these emotions that we have, and many millions of Zambians. So even by reconciling posthumously, the first family is still there, the first lady is still there, and the other families. Genuine, sincere discourse
is what is needed.
Is what is needed. Wisdom, corrective wisdom, is what is needed, Mr. IP. You see how we shall turn out to go and pray, all of us collectively. You know, even when I would have wanted to be at showground, but I'm still in mourning. How is it going to be for me to go and sit there, maybe just to pretend? So, we need to be realistic. You can imagine if we had buried CCL and everything, we could have flocked over there to pray together and, stand together and say, yes, we are one Zambia, truly one Zambia, one nation. But I think many didn't turn up because of the reasons I'm talking about. So as happy as we were commemorating the day, we are still sad. We are still sad.
Let's look at other matters.
So basically, going forward, I think it's important that we actualize and on one hand, I'm Catholic. If my bishop, among the bishops that we have, all of them, we look at them as our shepherds.
Right.
So when you attacking one bishop, the Archbishop of Lusaka, Dr. Kibanda,
right,
don't think you are just attacking him alone. There's us, millions and millions of the Catholic faith. We are offending by just like attacking the one shepherd. Again, you are separating people. So these, and when we are saying, please, let's not take on this trajectory, because I'm talking about sincere conversations. These are people that could help even to diffuse the situation as it stands with Israel.
Right.
They are genuine people of God. And certainly they are calling a spade a spade. Sometimes, make us politicians think, oh, maybe they are just against me, they are just against. No, they've been consistent throughout. So to sit down with them and hear them is very critical. When the ZCCB pronounces something, because they don't want to preach to us when they know that we are full of so many things in us.
Right.
So they have got moral obligation to speak on matters that affect their flock.
Being.
They have that moral authority. Apart from preaching to us the word of God, they have to make sure that we are mentally and morally prepared to listen to the word of God. So casting aspersions and castigate also does not build. But I know our shepherds always pray even for those that want to bring them down and drag them into partisan politics.
The next few days from now, Honorable Zambia will be turning 61 from the time we got independence under Dr. Kenneth Kaunda and the UNIP administration at the time. A lot has happened, along the way. You understand that when KK took over the country under the multipartism, along the way, according to him, we became divided, and either on tribal lines as well as political affiliations. In his wisdom, he decided to turn Zambia into one-party state. According to his wisdom, again, his justification was that he wanted all of us to belong to one organization, something which, of course, is up for debate. One can argue or not. But this was demonized. People said, no, we need to get back to multipartism. Dr. Kaunda again reverted the country back into the multipartism. His main theme was one Zambia, one nation. You remember the story of a night without a president, where Dr. Kaunda at some point decided to quit. I cannot preside over a country which is divided on tribal lines. Fast forward, he gets back and says we have to live as one people. He died with a slogan, one Zambia, one nation, as KK. This is 2025, getting to 2026, or this year will be turning 61 of Zambia's independence. When you talk about the legacy of Dr. Kaunda and the one Zambia, one nation, where are we? Have we honored the man? You've given a very interesting story about Chinsali. Of course, Chinsali is a great province. Of course, all the provinces are great, but I'm talking about Chinsali because maybe it produced Dr. Kaunda and other great leaders in that regards. These are people, the Simon Mwansekapwepe, they were great Pan-Africanists who believed in unity. Where are we today? Are we living up to their dreams and aspirations? Give your own reflection about independence.
Very interesting. There's so much that one can talk about, in response to what you are saying, Comrade IP. Yes, indeed, Chinsali, home of Cha-Cha-Cha, very important. So is Choma.
Yeah.
You remember the Choma Declaration,
yes.
And all that those historical pronouncements. And you also remember that there was Mr. Arimanga Nkumbula, the founder of the ANC, for Anki, as it was called, where Dr. Kaunda and many others started from.
Yeah.
Again, it may have been different then, but even then it was search for the leaders who were going to stand up to the colonialists and make sure that we started governing ourselves. In a way, you could relate it to what is happening now. Is multi-party. You have talked about one-party participatory democracy, which was then coined to allow United National Independence Party (UNIP) to be the only party. And of course, the internal democratic issues that were there, it was called one-party participatory democracy, but people were competing in very interesting ways. Yeah, but as to the spirit of One Zambia, One Nation is under test.
Today?
Yes. Right. It's under test. That's why you find that their lamentations, we are so sensitive about what someone says, and what someone shouldn't say. It's because it's now under test. We shouldn't pretend about it. So we have got every responsibility as Zambians to preserve what was left for us in order for this country to remain united. You have heard recently condemnations of people just making one opinion that looked like being tribal talk. But also you have got people in institutions whose discussions have leaked to try and show that they are being selective, they are being segregative in the manner they want to either employ people or recruit people. And if we are sincere, these matters must be tackled head on and not pretend to jump on one and ignore one. It won't take us anywhere.
How can they be handled?
Well, how can they be handled?
The example of Honorable Mumbipiri, as well as Mumbipiri, who came out, who was quoted in the media that if we are going to pick on, for example, a Bemba president, then we have got an Eastern vice president, we're going to win the election. That was condemned, not only from the outside stakeholders, also from your camp as a PF. You condemned Honorable Mumbipiri. Before that, or prior to that, also Mr. Amon Mwemba at Ratsa, he was also quoted having issued some, what has been described as divisive remarks, when he was more like proposing on how employment should be offered, all those things. How should this matter be handled? All these two things be handled?
That's what I'm saying. The matters should be handled not selectively.
Right.
If we are going to condemn the opinion of Honorable Mumbipiri, we must not ignore this other one who is basically quoted and is in public service, for that matter, where every Zambian deserves to have equal opportunities depending on their competences and their qualifications. You cannot zero down to people's names. You can't. I am married to your sister. So by the name of my name doesn't mean that my child is Bemba. So, yes, my older sister, Honorable Mbipiri, is a leader who must be seen to be unifying. And if people misinterpret what she said, it's important for her to come out and say, look, I didn't mean what people are saying, or this is what I meant, in order to keep things quiet, calm the storm. Yeah, so that it's not misconstrued and blown probably out of proportion. That's what I expect. But I expect that the same ones who were condemning that opinion should have been the same, because we were waiting to see the minister responsible for that department to come out in the public and give the report.
Right.
You understand? Because those are not things that we should be ignoring in order to build ourselves. We should tackle these matters as they pop up and in their own context. So that, you know, we are saying to be fair, because the tribalism that comes out from the pronouncements is just as worse as that is being practiced in silence. You may be condemning it, right, but practicing it in silence, it's the same. Because at the end of the day, it will be known. Where I come from, we say, "Ifilala fiamunda yanama." Only those things that are consumed by animals are the ones that go to sleep. But it's important that if we are to go with the desires of our forefathers, when you listen to the stories of our freedom fighters, some of whom are still alive, they will tell you the price they paid to attain this independence. It wasn't smooth sailing. They were sleeping in the bushes. But again, they had to narrow their differences. Even as Dr. Kaunda and his team sprang out from Anki, they later on had to converge at some point in order for them to achieve the liberation of this country. They respected Mr. Mwangankumbla, who was their leader at some point, and they had to come and reconcile meaningfully and genuinely in order for them to attain the independence that we are enjoying today as we celebrate it. So it comes back to what you were saying, the talking, the conciliation, and what must be practiced. There is nothing like abracadabra, you know, you bulldoze, you take each other to court and things come out of court. You imagine you are sitting in one room, the ruling party, the opposition party, and you are talking about the constitutional amendments. You understand? What you agree on, it's likely that you are going to implement without any hurdles. There is no need for any mingalato to do certain national matters, no. Or bulldozing. It may seem to work, but at the end of the day, it backfires. So it's important, and that's why I'm saying those that advise the leaders, including the president, must see the value in people sitting on the round table.
Let's talk about
in short, yes, we are enjoying the independence, and as free, we may have challenges, the economy, and so many of the challenges that people are going through day to day, which are well known to the citizens. At the end of the day, for us to have a meaningful one Zambia, one nation, we must start sitting on the table and look at the solutions. Because we can defund the shadow box politic. How is it benefiting the ordinary citizen at the end of the day?
Right.
Who we are saying, let's live in unity. You understand? Because we have to find solutions for our people who are struggling, you know, with the cost of living, the road shading that is here, which should have been fixed. You understand? There's no one single individual who can find the solutions to this country. Yes, leadership can be provided in order to have an environment where the solutions to deal with the economic challenges, to deal with all the challenges our citizens are facing. But at the end of the day, it can only come from the collective effort of many Zambians. So we must desire, we must strive. Because even as we go to compete for people to choose who should be their leader, we are going back to the same people. So, what confidence are we giving them?
Yeah.
When we are saying one Zambia, one nation, are they feeling it? Are they living it on the day-to-day? And like I say, we must be open to one another. Call one another if you have to. And, you know, say this is where we are supposed to be more than 50 years of independence. What hasn't been done? What needs to be done? What kind of democracy do we wish to see where you and I can compete on ideas but still sit on the same table? Then we have been talking democracy. Yeah, because you see, if we have got this democracy, we are saying, no, it must just be this party to be in power or to have all the seats in National Assembly so that we don't have this agreement of checks and balances. What are you trying, what society are you trying to create? Is that the thinking we should be having now?
I want us to handle two things before we go. Time is not on our side, Honorable. But I know that you are one of the critical stakeholders in this country by the virtue of you being a member of parliament for Shwangandu, but of course a national leader. Let's talk about the voter registration, which is currently going on in the country. When we did a news item as KBN TV, and what was established, at least on that particular day, was that the voter turnout is quite very low. Here in Lusaka, I'm not sure other areas. What has been your observation from the day when the voters registration commenced?
Before I respond to that IP, I just want to also commend the leaders under the Tonse Alliance,
right?
Who in the recent past we have seen a lot of you know, seeming acrimony, you know, people pulling different directions, who took initiative even as of yesterday. The leaders gathered, the acting president of the Patriot Front, Mr. Given Luminda, Secretary General of the party, and notable opposition leaders. Of course, Dr. Dan Plain Absentia, who hasn't been well, acting president for FDD, State Council Chifumbanda, Mr. Peter Sinkamba, was chairing the coming together of members, President Zambia Prosper, Mr. Fube, and many others, the Sondos of this world, and Mr. Musona. I had the privilege to just attend part of the session that they gathered, Dr. Zuman and many others. I think what they demonstrated yesterday should be giving hope to our people that where people meet from different backgrounds, they can still narrow down their differences and forge ahead. So it was good to see that reconciliatory engagement, and I can only encourage them that yes, it's important that they continue to give people hope.
How genuine was that meeting or that reconciliation? Was it just for the sake of the camera out there? Because I think we have seen a lot of confusion in your political party, to start with the PF and also the Tonse Alliance. There's too much confusion. It's like everybody wants to be a leader, everybody wants to be a president. As a result, you are busy fighting, and you are the people who were in charge of the country yesterday. What example are you setting, are you giving to those who are in government today, the UPND, and those who want to come and form government tomorrow?
Ms. IP, yes, indeed, democracy entails competition. As to whether the discussions were genuine, I think the discussions that I was that part of was genuine, was sincere. People spoke, openly, and they expressed themselves openly, and there's still work going on. I can't say that everything was concluded. There's still work that is being done, and I'm sure through the correct channels they will share the information as things unfold. Yeah, so that's what I can say. There's work to be done, but I think people are able to express themselves. Right. Now, you talked about competition. Competition should be normal in any democracy. It should be normal, Mr. Piri, because everybody would want to express their desires to be identified in different leadership roles, president, parliamentary, as well as councillors. This competition is everywhere. When you see the ruling party saying, no, we don't want anyone to stand as an independent, we don't want. No, that shouldn't be the way we handle democracy. Democracy must be allowed to thrive. Let people express themselves. The moment you start curtailing, those are the things they call dictatorial. You may be speaking to dictatorial tendencies without knowing. You think you want to be in control. No, people must be allowed to express themselves. So even in the opposition, it's the same. You understand? There are people that have come out wanting to be leaders, but at the end of the day, it will narrow down. It will narrow down because it will go back to the people themselves, who will be able to say, yes, we think you are able to lead us this given time. It's the people that will have to make a final decision. So all these seemingly squabbles, whatnot, should be just, for me, treated as normal, because it's like football. When teams are playing, the managers are sitting on that bench with the players on the bench. If the team is performing very well, you don't see the coach warming up players to try and replace those that he thinks are tired and have failed to perform, have failed to score goals. If the team hasn't performed to the expectation of the coach, then you see so many players standing up and warming up, so that the coach could probably change the fortunes of the team. You see four players coming in at one time, and sometimes it works. 90 minutes, the game is won. So even now, I don't think maybe there could have been so many people warming up if the expectations were probably met by the ruling party. By the ruling party, those that are in government. So you should see it in that context. And the clear example can be seen just from across the border here. We had more than 17 in total. 17 in total, including the incumbent. But 16 competing against the incumbent. 17 in total. But people...
That's the Malawi scenario.
Malawi scenario, just across the border. It was when everybody was saying, no, the incumbent is coming back. There were those 17. But at the end of the day, the people zeroed in. Right. You understand? Even out to as many as they were, they said they were able to where I come from, they said Soboro and Dawamesh. They were able to say, no, this one, no. It started zeroing in, just like the race. There's only one gold medal, which people will be racing to. You see, there will start a lot of them running. The line will start reducing as narrowing as the race is going towards the ending. The first one, second and third. And that's how it is. So allow people to express themselves. It's democracy. Ultimately, the people will then have to decide. Out of the so many that will stage themselves up to say, look, this is the one. Both in internal party politics and at the national level.
How soon do you think?
So there's no sense of entitlement and ownership of the electorate. There's nothing. And that's why many people mislead leaders. You heard what we were listening from Malawi, the other side, where those who were assuring the president that there's no competition, sir, it's done. Consider it done. It's just a formality. You understand? What are they saying today? Yeah, to the former president. So it's important, like you heard me say in Parliament, that those who are responsible to help presidents incumbents is do the work.
Right.
Those who were tasked to fix the election, to fix the electricity, what are they saying? Yeah? You have the minister coming to telling the people, no, we are giving you 10. He comes to Parliament, we are giving you 15 hours. But people are feeling it in their homes. So is the cost of living. So when you see so many people warming up, allow. That's a democracy we have embraced. And then anyone who wants to undo that, you are just wasting time. That's what people have embraced. And that's why the constitution is in the manner it is. Anything to subtract from that, you are just wasting time. And you will have yourselves to blame.
Wow.
Because everything that is in the constitution, people have exercised. The issue of independent candidates is in the constitution. So if you want to go and knock it off because you feel the competition is not going to help you, you must think twice. You must think twice. Because the reason why people are doing that is they are expressing themselves. That you can give us this one, we don't want, but we are going with this one. It's people. It shouldn't be us. All we do is manage.
How did you handle this pressure under the PF? I know that prior to the adoption exercise as well, you faced a similar challenge where some JJ Bandas, the Muniazul, among several others, decided to go alone. How did you manage this pressure?
Look, difficult as it was, but you have to respect people's wishes.
Right.
It's all about respecting people's wishes and desires. People will speak, and if you don't go to them, you say, oh, okay, this is a candidate that we want. They'll tell you, we don't want that one. Ours is this one. How are you going to force them? It's only a dictatorship. Where are you going to do? So you allow the constitution deal with those. Yes. So the constitution is not about meeting your desires alone, Mr. P. It's a people's document. So if it's meeting the people's desires, who are you? You pray. You just play to the rules and dictates of the constitution. That's how important it is. That's why things they've put in there, you cannot go and change them without going back to them. That's the interesting part about the constitutionalism. It's people's processes. And that's why I was saying the Attorney General should be helpful to the state and the people.
Right.
He shouldn't feel happy to be dragged to court only to be told that you didn't follow the required processes in order for you to embark on constitutional amendments. No. And if you want to continue on that trajectory going against the people's wind, you shouldn't come and blame the people. So, Bwana Pili, people, the constitution is to control people's desires. Some could be selfish desires, and some could be good desires, but not your comment. That's why you put those things there, to control. Because you see, authority corrupts our minds sometimes. And it can corrupt to a point where you ignore the owners of the authority. You have seen it here where people have, oh, it's 10 years, you want to think, yeah, no, I can only do the work beyond 10 years. I don't want to mention a country where it's chaos, where people want to continue being in power for forever. So those are results, and that's why people were putting those things in there. Now they are exercising them.
Clearly, the aspect of having independence is worrying the ruling party today, because the national.
No, it shouldn't worry them.
He talked about it.
It shouldn't worry them.
And he has assured the president that we, the young people, make sure that we do not allow independent candidates to stand.
No.
But again, also the president...
It's a constitution. It's not about how the national chairperson feels. Those are people's rights enshrined in the constitution. I don't have to speak into their internal party issues, but insofar as the constitution is concerned, those are rights of citizens enshrined in the constitution. And they shouldn't start rewriting the constitution by themselves. They are dealing with human beings. Mind you, MMD had the opposition, they had the independence. That's when it started. So is time of PF. Yeah? So let them focus on just managing their affairs. If people appreciate that they have worked, you don't have to be worried about independence or about those that are going to follow.
How does it play out?
It speaks to, and then you may be just expressing your weakness to the public. That this is how it is for us. So we feel, for us to keep ourselves in power, we must knock off this, knock off that. No, that's a people's document.
The president as well is not comfortable to have many independent candidates, because he did mention that he's been receiving, intelligence information that why he's being told that you as a president you're going to win, but your MPs, ward councillors, they might lose. How is the presidential vote, crafted? How is the presidential vote made from you as a veteran politician in this country?
Again, I don't
know. Is there such a thing that the president can win and then the MPs will lose?
There's no such a thing. There's no such a thing. Not even miraculously. There's no such a thing. And you don't address such fears by being, undemocratic and take drastic measures as we are here in pronouncement. That's bordering on lawlessness. Because if you are saying we cannot allow people to fight in, who are you, first of all, not to allow a person who says, I'm going to vie as an independent, not to fight in? Because that person is exercising their right. So, I think for me, it's just going back to the drawing board.
Right.
Do the right thing. Perform to the expectations of the people. Go on your tick box. If you are saying Kwenyu, why should you be worried about the MPs losing, councillors losing, and the president winning? It doesn't work that way. So it's a collective performance of government that to be assessed by the people of Zambia. You understand? And give them, and if you feel the people that they know they've worked, the person in energy has performed to their expectation, they will say, yes, he's a good man, he's a good MP, he's a good minister who has supported the president to fix the energy sector, both subsectors, fuel subsector and electricity subsector. That's how it works. It's agriculture, yes. The sector is flourishing. But to try and think that you are going to curtail a certain group, and we have heard they are saying those who are old and who are new, that's for people to decide. Again, it's like what I was saying. You remember, you would want to say, no, for me, I want to go with this one.
Yeah.
Then people will say, you are taking us for granted. We want this one. At this particular time, we feel we can represent as well. So we must be realistic, and we must not forget that what we enjoy is people's mandate, people's authority. Nothing else.
Right.
So, in conclusion, yes, you may be saying Patriot Front has got challenges. Yeah, these are challenges that the party is dealing with. And we have the leadership in place. We have the vice president who is acting until a substantive leader is elected. And that's how it is. We have narrowed some of the issues. You know, our colleague, Honorable MP for Matero, we have, you know, gotten together in as much as we may be with him in court, but we, more than anything else, talking about reconciliation, we feel reconciling and holding hands and say, oh yes, we are all not righteous. We are bound to make mistakes. And when we make mistakes, we reflect on them and say, let's get back to that which bind us together. And so, yes, people compete. We've got candidates there. And whoever emerges as a winner, we shall rally behind that particular individual.
Right.
And then we go back to the Tonse, where parameters will be set. I think they'll be pronounced. Again, the desire is to try to narrow down on probably maybe, you know, one single candidate as a desire, so that we consolidate the support. But there are also others that are coming up. Eventually, I think people will be talking. Yeah, but to see many people competing again, it will just be democracy. I gave an example of Malawi. Yeah. So now coming back to the question you posed regarding the voter registration, it has started with very serious challenges. And, you know, speaking as an MP who looked at the provisions in terms of resource envelope in this year's budget, we scrutinized last year, and we expressed these concerns that we are witnessing now. We could see that the resources allocated to Electoral Commission of Zambia were not enough. Right. You understand? And so it's very unfortunate that we have witnessed the commencement of this very important exercise with challenges. Right. And that's why you saw a few of us members of parliament going to engage the Electoral Commission of Zambia, who by and large acknowledged these challenges that people are encountering on the ground. You know, starting from, first of all, the late release of deployment plan, which spells out the days in which, on which the officers are going to be at particular polling stations. It came late. And now the exercise was commencing, the program was coming late. So people were not informed on the ground. Right. And also this goes to voter education, which hasn't received so much publicity, attention, in order, and those of us who are in rural areas, we know how communication challenges are on the ground. People wait for Sunday to hear pronouncements from church, and in between it's very difficult to reach out to the communities. So those who are supposed to be doing voter education should have been ahead and make sure that they do the right thing. So basically the first week must not even be counted. Those places where they started from must not be counted, because even as I speak to you now, we are getting reports of certain areas, even in my constituency, where people have gone, but the machines are not working. So it shows that probably ECZ buying those machines did not test them enough after training people on how to use them. People needed to know how the machines behave after heating up and so forth. So, but now they are in the field, and that's when they're encountering these challenges. In some cases, it's lack of diesel. The gensets are not, have got no diesel. And again, this goes back to the resources that are being put in this exercise. Last year, we were assured that there were cooperating partners who were going to come on board. But the question is, have they come on board? And if they haven't come on board, when can we quickly have this sorted out so that the number they are targeting of 3 million new voters to be added on the new voter register is achieved? You know, so these are the issues. And then the number of days that they are spending on polling stations, 4 days. So we find that by the time people are getting the information, they would have already spent 2 days. The time they start turning up to go and register, they're moving on to another place. So these are things that we want to find. And then, you know, issues like allowances, you know, truth be told, with these economic hardships, our people in the civil service, be it the police service, be it teachers and those that are targeted, because you have to get people that have got fixed aboard, who you can find in terms of some omissions. So you have to get people from the mainstream civil service to go and undertake that exercise, because the Electoral Commission of Zambia is not everywhere in the country. They work through the local authorities, where they dedicate their functions and mandate to execute these works. So if those people are also not remunerated in terms of allowances, getting allowances, because they're doing extra work, they're deployed away from their homes. Those that are in Lusaka, they have to traverse between where they work and where they are going. So they need to make sure that they are given the allowances on time, in order to motivate them to do the right thing. So these are some of the issues that we discussed with ECZ, but they still continue to obtain on the ground.
Do they deserve, for example, I'll ask this question, let's talk about the officers who are providing security in these polling stations or registration centers. You talk about the registration officers themselves from ECZ, among others. Do they deserve to get these allowances? Because we're talking about a country with, struggling with the finances. Again, the president will tell you that these are people who are already on a payroll. They get paid every month. So if we're going to tell you that go and maybe man, for example, I'm just giving you an example, civic center, you as a police officer, you don't deserve to get an allowance. That's how it works.
No, sir. It doesn't work like that. This is an operation, okay? And when officers are shortlisted, identified to participate in an operation, the command must know the numbers when liaising with the Electoral Commission of Zambia. What manpower do you need in terms of police service? The registration and beat polling, the time of elections themselves, conduct of elections themselves. That is costed. So what we call an operation order is drawn, detailing the number of officers and how they are going to be put in command structures, so that even when they are deployed, they're able to report to somebody. So that operation order is costed. It comes with a cost. So you are getting people to go and perform extra duties. It's not about the salary, no. And anyone who is thinking like that, it's just failure of duty. It's failing in duty. So every operation order is funded. How do you expect that one to go and they need ration? They'll be out of station. They need ration. And allowances are provided for, in the public service. So they are entitled to those allowances. And that's why I'm saying you have to make sure that is timely released. Operation order, by the time you're implementing an operation order, it must be funded, because it has already been costed. So don't hold on to people's money. Let them have the money, because then they'll be able to discharge their work. Both those that are doing the actual registration, those that are providing security, are entitled. So, and that's why elections must come with a budget. And that's why we were saying that for police operations, fund the police, so that they don't have to run to the Electoral Commission of Zambia, because those are issues that culminate into audit queries. And we had those audit queries coming to Parliament dealing with post the elections. So fund the police according to their operation orders.
So that has got nothing to do with being reckless in terms of expenditure.
No,
because
no.
The current administration will tell you that we don't want to be wasting money.
No way.
Like the PF, they were giving money anyhow.
That's not wasting money,
right,
Mr. Piri. It's spending money where it is due. No one should abdicate their duty by lying. That is over expenditure. Why do we budget for elections? time immemorial. It's not the first time we're having elections. So elections have always been funded. It's the same in the by-elections. And surprising, sometimes we hear people complaining that officers have not been paid for participating in by-elections. That's why they say by-elections are costly. Why? Because all these components must be funded. Yes. So there's nothing like, over expenditure. No. You are spending on the due processes of elections. Yeah. So let the people just do what they're supposed to do.
You manage the Home Affairs Ministry for a period of...
But in the end, we want the Electoral Commission of Zambia to attend to these concerns.
Right.
Because people must not be denied their right to exercise, to be exercised through voting by just not officers getting people captured. For these reasons, that can be addressed. You had again a vehicle that was attacked in is it Monze or Mazabuka, and my election materials go missing. It's dangerous because what sort of materials have gone missing? And if it's equipment that has gone missing, what is the motive of those who have stolen it? Because you imagine if they have stolen the machine to go and do registration, what would they do with it? So those are the concerns that must be addressed and information given to the people. For example, what sort of material disappeared and who is responsible, who is held responsible for that. We just heard, I think, some statement from the police, but we have to hear from the Electoral Commission of Zambia, who must speak to the materials that went missing. You see, the elections become emotive if they are not properly handled. And the elections are a process. It's not the day of voting that matters most. Everything that is done prior to the elections is very important. And in order to lessen conflicts, we must make sure that we are thorough with the processes. We lessen suspicions in the processes that are undertaken as you build up. That's why it's important to educate new voters. It's important to give them the required information. It's important that people are told that, yes, those who are already registered, you don't need to register, but you can also go and check if your details are still on the register and your card is in well condition. Those who have lost, then they go and replace their voters registration. But the other biggest challenge is that normally, after the issuance of national registration cards from the DNRPC, is also feeds into this process. Right. So the mobile registration of people by DNRPC issuing NRCs is just as important process. So what we are getting now is that people are going to the polling stations and hoping. In the past there could be officers from Ministry of Home Affairs to also issue NRCs for people to get voters registered as voter. So that's not the case. And in many areas which were not covered, people are complaining. And again, this is a matter we discussed with Electoral Commission of Zambia, and they acknowledged that they are also getting these concerns from the officers on the ground, that people are crying to say they would want to have NRCs issued to them. We were assured by the Chief Executive of Electoral Commission of Zambia that they were going to engage the Ministry of Home Affairs and the Department of National Registration, Citizenship and Passport to intervene. But as you may know, in most of the districts we hear that there are no materials under DNRPC. Even where they are stationed in their stations in the district, that they have got no materials. But when you bring me on another day, I'll come and speak on on why. You remember that project you came to witness of issuing, migrating from the manual civil registration processes of birth throughout into death, and why it has stopped. Because remember, I would have shown you my NRC.
We'll find time for that,
which came out for that. Yeah, so this will help in addressing some of these challenges that we are still facing.
We'll find time for that. But again,
the process
my last question, yes.
It's important that DNRPC collaborates with the Electoral Commission of Zambia in ensuring that our people are issued with NRCs so that they can participate.
Right. My last question, of course, I'm trying to take advantage of your presence, looking at the number of years you spent in the Ministry of Home Affairs. Probably you understand, you've got a vast knowledge around the affairs of the security in this country, talking about the police. When you talk about, you mentioned that the police officers who are helping in providing security, maybe in these registration centers, they deserve some allowances. I will take you to another similar incident. How can these checkpoints, police checkpoints, be managed? I'm driving you to the scenario, an incident which happened about 2 weeks ago, where your counterpart, the Minister of Copper Belt, Mr. Hichilema'S, had a serious altercation with the police officers, and he was quite furious, telling the cops that you don't deserve to be here at this particular time. Allow the people to pass, let them report for work, and then later on you can mount back your checkpoints. I want to get your honest opinion in that regards. But before that, let's just have this video of Honorable Matambo for those who may not have watched it.
Want people to go for work late. What are you trying to do? You want to make this government unpopular. That's what you are trying to do. Well, how can you put a roadblock at 7 hours if people are going for work in town? How? You are doing things. Do the roadblock. Give people time to go for work from 06 up to about 10. Then you do your checkups. People are going for work at 7 hours. You are putting a roadblock on the road. Why? You want the government to be unpopular or what?
No, sir.
From today, this road, when people are going for work, give them time, 06 to 10 hours. Let them go for work. Then 10 hours, you start your roadblock. So stop this, what you are doing. People are complaining there. They are going for work. Then you stop them on the road. From 06 to 10 hours, let people go for work. When they're in their offices, they're working, put up your roadblock. What nonsense is that?
Yeah, that's a video there, Honorable. What is your take over those reactions from the minister? When and what point should we have these checkpoints mounted?
My response to this would be this, that police officers are human beings. Right? They are human beings behind those uniforms.
Right.
And they are also prone to error, prone to make mistakes in their execution of duties. And you must also understand the environment in which they are operating, in terms of their work. They are also citizens like you, faced with the same challenges. So there are so many factors that affect police operations. And if I do so much time, maybe when I come and sit down, we can go into details on how all these get to have an impact on the professional conduct of officers.
Right.
Where do they live? Where do they stay? How they're moved to back and from work. That's why it's, officers were ideally supposed to be in police camps.
Right.
It's for better mobilization, to provide logistics for them when they are going to duty and back. It's easier. Yeah, but now, you find that officers are dotted all around. They can be in Kalingalinga here. You can't just see them because they have to hide their uniform in a bag and they won't go and put it on when they are, so they are in the communities where they're supposed to police. But coming specifically to that issue, in as much as they could have been challenges in the manner that checkpoint was mounted, the manner in which the minister dealt with it leaves much to be desired. He's a minister of the province who sits with what we call PJOC. And Copper Belt is a very province. The PJOC, the kind of PJOC that the minister sits with, is not like any other province. What do I mean by that? Is we say it's a permanent joint operations committee, which draws security wings together, as a committee, and they are able to advise the minister. And likewise, the minister is supposed to channel his concerns through that structure. And therefore, the police command sits on that PJOC. Right. You understand? So if the minister had concerns, that's a light platform where he could have dealt with that. And he has the number for the no, not for his counterpart. Okay. For the sake of
take away the minister of Home Affairs.
You take away the minister of Home Affairs at that stage.
Right.
He communicates with the Commission of Police in the province.
Right.
You understand? To alert him on a need to know basis, and likewise on a need to know basis, the police would also feed into the minister. So to try and act like an ordinary cadre, confronting police officers like that is certainly not the best way to deal with matters.
Right.
So, because that was just one off. What about the other ones that could be wrongly mounted? So if you are engaged in these processes, then you can discuss.
Right.
If it fails, then you escalate it to the minister responsible.
Internal security.
Right. Because it's not even the work of the minister to intervene in the day-to-day operations of the police. The minister Minister of Home Affairs is not supposed to micromanage the police service. And so the provincial minister should not entertain that thought either, of wanting to manage the operations of the police direct like that.
Right.
That's not his area. So yes, he could have had genuine concerns, but the approach he took was not appropriate.
Right.
So that's what I can say about that. And let him use the channels, because that officer has got command where he reports. And they could have dealt with that. Even the minister could have picked a call to call the commissioner of police there to say, look, there's this challenge on the ground. Can you address it immediately? And that commissioner would have found a way of addressing it than to politic it in the manner the minister.
He was politicking, according to him, he was trying to protect the president.
No, he was just politicking.
His remarks were that, do you want to make the president unpopular?
That's the politicking I'm talking about. There was no need for that.
Right.
That's a man and women in uniform who should be looked at from doing this job. If he's wrong, let him be dealt with within the structures provided for.
Right.
So you don't go and prove a point that to who? And like I said, beyond those uniforms are human beings who must be handled like human beings as well. So yes, he could have a valid concern, but the manner in which he handled the matter is what I cannot approve.
Right. Honorable, thank you so much for coming through to the KBN TV, the bigger program.
It's been always a pleasure, and I think we shall be around, we shall be available as and when to come and sit on this interesting platform and continue doing the good work.
Thank you so much.
There's no good work that is not that doesn't draw criticism.
Right.
So when you're being criticized, just know that there's something that you're doing. But obviously, within the confinements of the law, don't use AI.
Thank you so much for that question. Right, we end the program. I've been hosting the former Minister of Home Affairs, who is Shwangandu Member of Parliament, Honorable Stephen Kampyongo. Thank you so much. This has been IP with a bigger program. We're back again tomorrow with another episode. May God bless Zambia. May God bless Mother Africa. Good night.